Alright guys, so as you can tell, I am not in the shop, and I'm sure you noticed from the title of the video, we're redoing my kitchen here. So this will be the biggest project that I'm taking on the channel. And I'm talking new cabinets, new countertop, new backsplash, removing bulkheads, putting in some overhead lighting, doing a lot. Now my disclaimer on this is this will not be a how-to video. This will be a how I'm doing video. Although throughout the entire video, I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of tips and tricks for you guys. And to kind of explain why I do things and stuff like that. So with that being said, sit back. We are about to take it to a whole new level. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get super duper nasty. So first thing we're going to do is remove everything, just demo everything. Now the cabinets are original with the house. I mean, they're good cabinets, but they're starting to show a little bit of wear and tear and stuff like that. But about 5 years ago, I went through, I did new countertops, I did a backsplash, did flooring, painted, you know, kind of did like a half remodel here. So this is gonna be the full remodel. Extend this wall over, which will move everything this way over there. Remove, like I said, all the bulkheads are gonna get taken out. There's a lot that we're gonna do, so we're just gonna start hacking away. You know what? That's good. There's actually something else in there. Extra Menards trip number 1, because the water valves shut off that I got were the wrong size, because my sink has no shut-offs, because whoever built my house thought you just needed the one main shut-off and you never shut anything off again. And when I redid the kitchen before, I didn't feel like putting them in. So here we go. This is trip number 1 that I screwed up and have to run back to the store.
Alright, I got the right size one now. And if you're wondering what is my least favorite thing to work on in a house, absolutely hands down is plumbing. I hate plumbing so much. But I didn't have any water shut-offs, so now I do. But this thing for the dishwasher is going to be a problem with the new cabinets. I can already smell what the rock is cooking on that one. And a little tip here on this one is I don't know if I trust this shut-off to the dishwasher, so I just bought a cap for $1.50, just a brass cap. I'm just gonna cap this off right now. That way, if it does leak, it won't go past the cap. Just $1.50 for that little bit of mindset to me is well worth it. So that's just a little tip: is caps are easy, simple. If you're worried about a shut-off valve, just cap it.
so this advice is probably the most crucial advice that I'm going to give you, because is it a pain in the butt to do? Sort of. Does it cost a little bit more money? A little bit, not much. I'm gonna have probably $10 into the whole thing. Is it gonna keep your wife off your back? Yes, because you're doing everything that you can to keep the dust from reaching in here. You think your wife wants to brush her teeth with drywall dust? No. So whatever you can, contain as much as you can in there. It's not that difficult to do. It does slow you down, but it's worth it in the end. This is a crucial step when it comes to any type of demolition when you're working with drywall and you're gonna make a lot of dust in your house. So before I start really whacking away at drywall and tile and creating a ton of dust, I'm barricaded in this room right now. I'm gonna open the window to give me a little bit of ventilation. I'm also gonna put on a mask and safety glasses. Now, hearing protection might come later, but for right now, I feel like this will be a good enough thing. I have the appliances that I had to leave in here, all plasticed over too. So let's make a ginormous mess. Okay, so I got all the bulkheads removed, as you can see. I do have a hole that leads to my attic now, but man, I forgot how messy this is. So if you're wondering why I removed all the drywall, well, that's because if I didn't, I would have had to repair where the bulkhead was, and then I'd have to repair where the tile was. I would have had to do a bunch of repair. It just made more sense to just rip it open. And then now that I did, I realized that there's a lot of wires that had actually just ran through the bulkheads that need to be repositioned and fixed that way. Either new wires ran or whatever, so I gotta do that. But demo part is actually done. So now it's just I gotta start getting her back together, but so last night I finished getting all the new electrical either ran or moved, and now I'm at the point where I need to build the new wall for where it's going to sit right here where the new pantry is going to go. But most importantly and most crappily is I have to remove all of the nails from the old drywall, either remove them or pound them in. If I pound them in, I create a lot more mess for myself than if I just take them out. But there is a lot. I've not hung drywall in years. So what do you think the odds are that the first piece fits perfectly the first time? There's 3 outlets and a notch cut out. I bet you have to trim it quite a bit. Now when it comes to measuring for the drywall to get where your outlets go and everything like that, so here's how I do it. First of all, you can see I make notes on everything on a scrap piece of drywall. Now I always start off in a specific corner, and that's going to be where basically I'm not going to cut. It'll be like my factory edge. Sorry if the dog hit the camera. So I'm going to start off from here. I'm going to run this, you always run it into where you can screw into. With your button knob obviously halfway, blah blah. So I'm gonna run this one to 61 inches. So this piece is gonna be 61 inches wide, 47 tall. Oh, I do for my outlets. So I'm gonna base everything off of this corner right here. I'm gonna draw 2 outlet shapes on. So you're at 3 1/4 down and 3 down. Now, I'm not just gonna measure from the top of the box to the bottom of the box. I'm gonna measure back up to the top of the drywall to the bottom of the box and give yourself a little bit of play. And just 6 minutes. Now I'm gonna start over here. So you got to the first outlet, 19, to the second part of the outlet, 21, 42 1/4 to 44 1/2. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it out and I'm gonna actually draw this on the back side of the drywall. And if I did it right and you transfer everything over correctly, everything should line up. Now you just screw it to the wall. And then you repeat over and over again. Trying to use as few amount of pieces as you can, because the more pieces that you use, the more seams you have to fix later on. The last bit of drywall advice I'm going to give you is marking your studs or even your joists, your floor joists, before you put up the drywall. So I don't know if you can really see it, but right above my finger there's actually a line on the ceiling, and I did that, and I also did it down by the floor too, and that tells me where the stud is on the wall. Therefore it's easier to put your screws in the right way. So that's all I'm going to give you for the drywall portion. I'm going to sit there and finish this up. I still have to do this whole wall back here, but it's just boring cutting drywall, measuring, putting it up. So I'm just gonna not even worry about showing you all that. All right, I have all of the drywall up and we are ready for mud. Now I have no advice to give on this, no tips, no tricks on doing drywall mud because I am not good at it. I mean, I guess the best tip that I could give you is same thing as you see on the back of shampoo bottle is rinse and repeat, because I'm going to do this about 45 times because I'm not very good. But you guys don't have to worry about that if you can just watch me. So while the first coat of mud dries, let me show you a little behind the scenes of how we're dealing with life without a kitchen. So here is our current kitchen situation. Small appliances on the table, all our silverware is still in the old drawers underneath. Our little pantry system, I just slid the old pantry over. With 2 kids and a puppy, it's been rough. But huge shout out to my wife, because as I'm tearing down the fort, she's holding it together somehow, trying to keep the house as clean as she can while I'm literally ripping out walls. Keeping the kids entertained so I can keep working on this. So huge shout out to my wife. This one, I realize it's for her, so I think that's probably why, but huge shout out to her for helping out, because this really, the help that she's given me has been tremendous. It's the behind the scenes stuff that keeps the project moving forward. So huge shout out to her. Now, do you guys want to go see all the cabinets? I picked them up yesterday, and spoiler alert, there's about 1,000 boxes. Realistically, probably about 100, but there's a ton of boxes. Let's go out to the trailer now. Show you all those now. There are so many boxes and pieces and everything like that. So, if you hear someone is remodeling their kitchen and you tell them they should remove their bulkheads, you are one of 3 different types of people. 1, you are a master of drywall and finishing drywall, good for you. 2, you have never done it yourself I don't know how to finish drywall, never even attempted to finish it. And 3, you just like messing with people because you know it's terrible and you want someone else to suffer. That's the only thing I can think of why anyone would remove bulkheads, because this is terrible. Yeah. Alright, so after the first sand, I would say the walls themselves are 85% there. The ceiling and all the seams in the ceilings, 60%, maybe 62. For me, that's pretty good because I only got 1, not quite 2 coats of mud on these things, so came out pretty good. So the cool thing about sanding and mudding is you just, after you get to do it the first time and hate it, you get to do it again. And then if you're really bad like me, you get to do it another time after that, and maybe another time. So yeah, love the misery. Alright, so I got the walls, ceiling all primed. There was a couple small little issues that I felt like I could probably fix with just a thick primer coat. While I was doing that, I noticed when I was walking back and forth, part of the ceiling is kind of bubbling, and now we have this. I know at one point there was a leak over in this area before I bought the house, so I'm guessing that's why like the skim coat is detaching from the drywall. So I've picked all of the loose off, and now I have to fix this. So this is going to set me back a day, but it's better to fix it now than to have this problem after the kitchen's done. So unexpected trip number 2 to Menards happened yesterday. I actually sent my wife because she was already out and about. What happened was I tried, when I had to prime the walls, is I tried to use this primer, because it's drywall primer. It's kind of thin, so it doesn't hide your mistakes the way that this does. So I would recommend you going this route if you're not very good with drywall, like most sales, because this stuff was just splattering everywhere and not hiding anything for me. This stuff hides stuff. So go that route. So that was unexpected trip number 2 to Menards. But while we're talking right now, before I really get into this, the primer is all on the walls. The ceiling has been fixed again. That's actually drying at this time. So now I think we just put some color on these walls so we can get rolling on cabinets, because it's been a long time coming. We're gonna test my pre-planning abilities. This could go terribly, terribly wrong. Guess what? I was right. That was terribly messy though. We are finally ready for cabinets after dealing with a bunch of catastrophes. Menards ended up shorting me a cabinet. I went back to, they had no problems giving me another one. I had to move this outlet over because it's gonna fall inside the new fridge area. A lot of issues to deal with, but we are ready to do cabinets. We're gonna start off in this corner with the fridge area. We have a cabinet that's gonna go up here and then a panel that comes down. But the thing is, to open the fridge against the wall, we need to cut a very small filler piece. So I'm gonna go out to the table saw. I'm gonna rip off a 4-inch filler piece to do that. So then that will give me that gap, and then I can start hanging all of my cabinets. Finally. So in order to rip these things clean without scratching the faces of the veneer on these cabinet panels, is they came pre-packaged in these nice little boxes with this kind of felty type protection on the inside for them. So all it is, I just laid that on top of the table saw, and I'm just running that right on that felt area, making sure that I clean it up as for every pass so I don't scratch my veneer. Alright, so I got that part hung over the fridge. You don't want to see me do it. It was terrifying to do. But let me give you a little trick that I did before I got paint on the walls. I knew I could paint. You want to sink your cabinets into studs. So what I did is when I had the walls all opened up, is I went through and I measured out where all the studs laid from the drywall edge over. So now I just have to measure and I know where all my studs are actually going to lay. So that should save a little bit of time trying to find the studs. Now though, trying to do with these cabinets, every single cabinet needs edge banding put along the front of it because they're universal, I think, cabinets, and then you're just trying to color. So when I do this, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a little bit of acetone and I'm just gonna wipe around the edges to clean it all up, edge band it, and hang it, and then repeat about 48,000 times. So where you are right now, I have all of the upper cabinets hung. Now I'm going to work on the base cabinets on the bottom. Now, one of the reasons I selected these cabinets was because of this right here. So I have the cabinet upside down. These are the feet for the cabinet. Now they are plastic, so that if there's ever a flood in the kitchen, it's not going to rot the bottom of my cabinets. And all of these little feet spin and move. That'll help me with leveling it instead of using shims. So that's one reason that I went with these cabinets in particular, is the feet. Now that I got all the cabinets installed except this one, now I feel more comfortable on talking to you and basically reviewing the cabinets themselves. So the cabinets that we got were a Clearview cabinet from Menards. I believe that's like the Menards brand. When I was looking to get cabinets, I asked the dude, I wanted a mid-range cabinet. I didn't want to spend $1,200. I didn't want to spend $20,000. I went mid-range, and this is what we came up with, is Clearview. Now, the cool thing with the Clearview is it comes with a lifetime warranty. The lady said that if anything goes wrong, I can just take it in, give her my receipt, and they'll swap it out for my lifetime. She did say that I can transfer that warranty over to the new owners of the house if we sell. That's what she said. So that's really cool. That was a really cool selling point. The other big selling point to me was those bottom feet that I showed you. Those things for twisting and leveling were a godsend. You don't have to sit there with shims and move all that kind of stuff. You just spin that little bottom black piece and they leveled out really, really well that way. The other thing that I really liked about these cabinets was this backer panel right here. Other cabinets I've installed have only had like a 2-inch wide backer panel. These have a 4-inch. It makes a cabinet a lot more solid, and it gives you a lot more of a space to sink your screws into for the wall. So I like that. The cabinets themselves seem to be decently made. The issues that I've had though is, like I said, I was missing 3 cabinets. I don't know if that was a Menards mistake or a Clearview mistake. But I was missing 3. I went in there on 2 different occasions. Menards didn't hassle me, didn't question me. They just took care of me. So, like I said, I don't know where that problem happened. And then the other bigger issue that I had was the quality of the cabinets. The quality of themselves is fine, but you can tell that they got banged up in shipping. Now, I don't know if that was from Clearview or if that was from Menards, but the sink cabinet I ended up actually having to repair because the seams were blown out of it. And then the microwave one kind of got dinged up on a corner. I had a cover panel all scratched up that was dinged up. So I don't know where that happened, but
those are my issues that I've had. These cabinets seem to be okay for mid-range of cabinets. And then the other thing that was a huge pain in the butt was doing this edge banding that we got to do. Universal cabinet. So basically, you tell them what size you want, and then you just pick a color out, and then they come with this cream color, and then you edge band all the front faces. You put cover panels on, then your doors cover everything else. So, because you have to do all the edge banding, that's kind of a pain, but what really sucks is all the edge banding, the adhesive backer on it, that peel away transfer tape stuff. I used 4 or 5 rolls, and all of them but one had about every 18 inches. The tape, instead of coming off together, it would kind of like slice down, and you'd have to go back through and try to peel that little bit off. So it was just, it was a nightmare, because that tape just did not want to, that backer did not want to release all the way correctly. And I thought maybe it was just a roll, but it was multiple rolls. So that was kind of a nightmare. But other than that, I mean, these seem to be pretty good. Again, this is how you level out the cabinets, which is really well, because the guy told me that you put a screwdriver in here and spin it. I just did it by hand, so that was awesome. I'm going to get this one installed, and then I got to install all the drawers, all the drawer slides. I got all of the doors on, but we got to continue on that before we can keep moving on. So talking about these cabinets and the quality of them and how I've received a few of them damaged, and leads to this right here. So I was going to go install this drawer, and this corner is just dinged, bent, broken, everything. So back to Menards again, because I have more damaged stuff. Here is the cover panels that go around the Peninsula. This back panel is a $180 panel. And if you tell right there, that's where the screw came out through the backside. Now, I did use the same size screw as used on the rest of it. For some reason, that one went hog wild and ripped through. So I'm going to glue it, see if it looks decent. If not, I do have another idea. But $180 panel, one screw. Alright, all of the cabinets have been installed. I've been to Menards 9,000 times, and pretty much everything on this project has fought me to get to where I'm at this moment. We are now officially 2 weeks into the project. Okay, so now I'm at the point where you think I'd be really excited, but honestly I'm a little more stressed out than I should be for this. The dog just dropped the bone behind me. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the knobs, all the pulls on the doors and the drawers. I did get myself a little toolkit thing right here. But I'm afraid, and I don't know why I'm so afraid of this, but I'm afraid that I'm going to do it on the wrong side of the door and it's going to be a problem. So I got about, I think there's 28 of these to do, which is fantastic. 2-week update. Where am I at right now? All of the cabinets have been installed. The hardware's been installed. Bulkheads are removed. I have this light I just installed today. Trim is back up over the window. The pantry is installed. The dog is outside. Outlet right over here. Got a lot done so far. Let's talk about the floor. Now, the floor was the original floor when we did the kitchen, and with the reconfiguration we didn't know if we would have enough, or if when I took it out, if I was careful enough that we'd be able to reuse it. And by hook or by crook, I got it done. We're able to reuse the floor, which saves me from doing the other floor over there. I am waiting on countertops. That's where I'm at right now. The only thing that I can do leading up to the countertops is the trim. We'll work on that next, but waiting on countertops, and then I can do the backsplash, and then we can wrap this thing up. But I wanted to show you this really cool feature that I did. So, you ready? Light switch. Boom. So all of them have over cabinet lighting. They're all controlled by one remote, which was very handy. So that's really exciting. Those things can flash to all that kind of crazy stuff. So I'm gonna work on trim while we wait for the countertops. And before we start putting the countertop down, we need to add something to screw the countertop to, which would be these little 2x24 inch, 3/4 inch particle board pieces. Now, a fun fact is you can buy these as a kit from Menards. You get, I believe, 8 of them for $10, or you can do what I did, which you're watching me do right here on the table saw, is rip them down to 2-inch sections on the table saw. I bought a 2 foot by 4 foot set piece, and I got 23 and a half out of them for 16 bucks. So doing the math, it makes a lot more sense to do this. If you came this far, you obviously own the material, the saw to cut them, so that's what you do. So all you're gonna do is screw these to the top, and then you'll screw the countertop from underneath after that. So I did not record installing this one. That's because that was an absolute nightmare. The wall was very not level, and when we designed these countertops with Menards, they didn't give us any room for any type of hangover there, so no room for error on this one. The wall was the big problem. I have a little gap in the middle there. I actually ended up cutting into the corner to make this thing actually work, but I still think it turned out really, really nice. Countertops look really great. I paid them to put the sink cutout in, so after tile I can break that out, but next, the next and final step is finally tile. So now that we're gonna start working on the tile backsplash, let me give you just a quick little bit of tips on tile. My number one tip for tile, take your time. Take your time with prep work, take your time with cutting, take your time with laying it out. Just take your time. Do not rush any tile. Don't get frustrated and start slapping stuff down. Trust me, from personal experience, it never goes well. So what I'm doing right now is I'm attaching these little end strips to the wall that the tile will butt into, so you don't see that exposed edge tile. And to do this is I put these on there, I cut them, put them on, and I drew a line on the inside where it's level, so I will know how, so you don't see that line. Now what I'm doing, I've never done this before, is I'm actually just hot gluing these to the wall. Again, I've never done that before, but it seems to be working, and if you don't get it right the first time, you're actually able then to just peel it right off. Peel it right off and try again. So, but it should stick long enough to at least get the tile on, and the tile is going to be what really holds it on. You just want something to hold it in place while you're going. All right, guys. 19 days ago, I started ripping up cabinets with my son, and since then, I have came home from work, and I've been working on the kitchen until it was time for bed. Then I would wake up and do the same thing for 19 days straight. It has been a massive project with plenty of difficulties that came up. If you remember, when I was ripping out the bulkheads, all the wires ran through the bulkheads, and I had to actually rerun all the wiring there. The handles, my last handle, the last screw snapped off inside the handle, and I had to drill that out and then retap that so that would work. There's just been a number of headaches that you guys didn't even see because there's a lot that I didn't record because I was so focused on just trying to get this thing done. But it came out fantastic. I'm very happy with it, but more importantly, my wife is very happy with it. And a huge shout out again goes to her because this took 19 days of my time, and she kept the house as clean as she could with the demo that was going on. She kept me fed, she kept me motivated, and a huge shout out goes to her for also helping design this kitchen because her and my sister-in-law, huge shout out to her also. They're the ones that designed it, picked out the cabinets, the backsplash, the paint color, they picked out all that kind of stuff, and I think that part is fantastic because realistically, they had the design and I had to put the pieces together. So huge shout out goes up to them. Really happy with the overhead lighting. I think that was a really nice touch on my part. That was all me on that one. This utensil drawer I didn't get to talk about because something probably went wrong when I was trying to put it together. That's done. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a long video. I'm trying to wrap it up right here, but this was a really, really long, huge project. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.